Good morning. I'm Sarah, and today we'll be working through how to implement processes, systems, and a bit of automation to see how it can help you grow your business. We'll be running through how to streamline automations, and we'll do a bit of myth busting while we're at it as we go. So automation and systemization in general, they're not dark arts. You don't have to be techie and it doesn't need to be intimidating, but it is a very big and broad subject. And I think that's why people can sometimes get a bit daunted by it. So I'm going to walk you through some examples that we're working on and how we took control of networking in a couple of years or so ago over the booking process to bring it to light a bit as to how we implemented some of these processes and automations to help us look a bit bigger than we actually were at the time. So as a small business owner, we're wearing lots of hats. We all know this: admin, marketing, sales, delivery. There's loads of plates to spin. And this situation isn't unique. It's the reality for so many business owners. When everything falls on your shoulders, it can be hard to keep up. And if you lose your momentum, things might just start to slip. Holidays can become harder to take. Illness is just, quite frankly, not allowed. So you might feel guilt for late night or weekend work, and burnout can creep in, and it feels like you're barely treading water, let alone growing a business. And while we're static in our business, this might feel manageable, like not the burnout bit, but before that, just sitting in all of the roles and managing all of those plates. But if we want to grow and start looking after more clients, making more sales, or even just being able to confidently take some time off when we want to, we need to not be spinning so many plates, and we need to place some of that burden. I'm not here to talk about delegation, hiring, building a team. That could be a solution for you. Maybe you need a VA and go and chat to Jess. But it's not what this talk is about. We're going to talk about the platforms that can support you and how you can get started if you're not where you are just yet, where you need to focus. So the first step is to audit your time and figure out where the bottlenecks are. Start by tracking every task for a week or for a month. If you're in one of my mastermind groups, you will have heard me say this before. I'm a fan of the post-it note approach. Pop each task that you do over that week or month on a post-it note and pop it onto a wall. But you could do this in a spreadsheet, Emma, or using something like monday.com, or just brain dumping on a whiteboard. We've also just developed, hot off the press, a time value energy audit, which I'll share the link to after. And at the end of the week or the month, whatever time period, group all of those tasks into categories. Focus on any that are repetitive, time consuming, you just hate doing, or are prone to human error, and maybe you're dealing with a few too many mistakes than you'd really. You can also do this exercise with a team. So if you're working with people around you or perhaps clients, things like that, it's a really good exercise to do. The next step is to then map your key processes. Once you've got all of those tasks grouped, you'll be able to see which are the most important ones to focus on. For this example, I've picked on a client onboarding process because it's likely it's something that all of us can relate to in some way. You might already have an idea where to focus. Maybe it's getting people signed up to an event, or you've got like an online course that you want to launch and you want to automate it. But you might already have a process. But here's an example list of our Mastermind 9 onboarding process, which we've been working on recently. Initially, we identified loads of steps, as you can see, some of them trickier than others. But as a long list, you could look at this and find it a bit overwhelming, especially if you're busy or you have to do this over and over. So to get started in simplifying this list, use a tool that you're really comfortable with. For us, we're in the Emma camp. We started off with an Excel sheet because it's really easy to visualize and collaborate with. And this is what this list ends up looking like. So here is that initial list starting to look a little bit more like a process. It's easier to understand each person. So this happens to be me and Robin, and then a catch-all for everyone. So everyone understands what their roles are. And our clients that get listed here receive consistent service when they onboard with us. By plotting it initially in this format, we can easily update it, refining it. We added a load of steps. We removed things like that just were a bit unnecessary to make it simpler. And then we added a load of things that actually that would have been really good to do. So mapping helps you see where you can also add the automation, simplify things, and make sure you've got everything covered, make sure nothing's dropped. So something we spotted in this example in fact, it even predates this process, is that we used to have clients only paying by personalized invoice set up in Xero, set up with their contact records and things like that. So that was really cumbersome. So we switched to Stripe and set up payment links, but they still had to be personalized and it was still really fiddly and time consuming. So we worked on setting up payment links that could be evergreen and reusable. So now we've been using this process for a while. We're nearly ready to build it into an automation, which will give back more time to Robin and I in this example, but also make sure that all of those clients get what they want quickly and consistently. So here's another example we can use. Once upon a time, networking in was basically a juggling act for Pete. He'd list the event on Eventbrite. People would book in a variety of ways, either by Eventbrite or messaging Pete. People would email him. They'd talk to him at networking events on LinkedIn. They'd say, I'd like to come. You get the picture, a bit chaotic. Tuesday night would inevitably end up being us, and I wasn't even working for Outside Ideas then, trying to figure out who was even coming to the event. People didn't have any booking links or confirmation or anything. It was chaos. Does anybody here remember that? It was hell. So how do we implement a fix? So as I said, this whole concept is really broad. So let's start looking at a few examples and just start really simple and easy. Let's focus on email platforms because that's something that we all have. And they come with loads of built-in tools. We use Google Workspace, but Office 365, etc., they've all got similar functions. How could we have simplified the NI booking process really easily at the beginning there? We could have just implemented some canned responses. So templated responses that you can easily set up, allowing you to send the same email over and over. Someone books on, Pete then sends the email. He can do it from his phone. It has the booking link in there. Simple. This is a simple automation, a simple process. But it does still mean he needs to remember to do it. We've all met Pete. What if he misses the email? Or still, it needs to be personalized a bit so that it's relevant. It's still open to human error. So this is good, but it's simple and it could be better. What could we do next? How could we make it even less prone to error? We could use a CRM at this point. We could do a couple of things. We can hook up our email account to the CRM system so that all emails back and forth are updated and captured, as well as having a record of who our clients are. This can help us know who to invite, update, and how to make sure we're keeping a good record of who our clients are and what their preferences are. So it can help us personalize too. I'm not sure why that one's faded, but there we are. We could move our canned responses to the CRM using personalized fields to bring in information which would add a great touch to the emails to the person receiving it so it doesn't feel too samey. So this is good. Less human error, it's repeatable, it's personal, it's what our clients want. We've got everything centralized in a CRM so that we've got, as a team, up-to-date information. But this still needs input from Pete. And so things could still fall down and go wrong, and we can do better. We can automate the whole process in that same CRM. We can include various booking options for clients. So by the website, by booking emails, we can still add people manually. We can still have that control, but people won't be waiting. They'll book on and they'll get their confirmation emails quickly, not waiting for Pete to finish what he's doing before adding them. We can then work on refining this even more. This example here, we segment clients so we know who's coming for the first and second time as per at the beginning of networking in. We can reach out beforehand to welcome them on LinkedIn. Follow-ups can be more targeted. We can incorporate some upsell opportunity in the booking confirmations based on who's receiving what email. This isn't reliant on a human in our team to fulfill. Clients are happy because they get the information that they need when they need it, and it's customized to them. And we're happy because Pete doesn't need to focus on email and can do what he's good at. And there are so many ways that these various tools can help you save time. I've obviously picked on some really easy examples there, but you can look at things for content creation, automating your social media schedule. You can look at repurposing existing blogs and scheduling them into newsletters. Emails can be auto-sorted, templates speed up common responses. CRMs can track customer interactions, making sure that you don't miss any follow-ups, so any sales opportunities. Then the data can sync across all the platforms and reports can be generated really quickly so that you can understand where your drop-off points are, your conversions. And even meeting schedules can be automated, things like Calendly. Other ways to help with plate spinning is AI. So I don't believe in using AI for content creation necessarily. I think it's really important not to lose your voice and your expertise, but it is really good as a time saver and it can shortcut jobs massively. For example, repurposing your own long form blogs into bite-sized social media posts, transcribing meetings and pulling out action points. We do this all the time. This is genius. Zoom has it built in, but there are other things like Otter. Robin's just signed us up to Fathom to trial that. Other ways, in our marketing accelerator last year, we demonstrated how you can use ChatGPT to build lead databases based on your ideal client. So put in the ideal client, help me find them within a 20-mile radius. You can then segment them ready for outreach. You can create FAQ guides from existing resources, automate reminders for invoices, translate customer feedback into actions. It'll help you save time, reduce errors, and actually help you focus on things that are going to grow the business, not admin. So what do we need to do? Step one, begin by mapping out and understanding what your routine tasks and client interactions look like. Figure out bottlenecks, bits you find boring, things that are overly complicated or where errors can happen. Map one of your key processes and identify areas where you could save time or errors happen and where you can reduce that. Explore tools that you've already got, like your email platform, if you've got a CRM to centralize customer interactions, and then experiment with AI to repurpose content or use that for insights. Start with those quick wins, start small before moving on to more complicated solutions. It's worth noting, like we've been working with Active Campaign now for, I don't know, probably the best part of 4 years. It was only when we were in like year, I don't know, 2.5, that we actually started using the sales pipeline functions within Active Campaign. We started small. We started with things like networking in and the newsletter, just automating those things. And then as your comfort zone expands, you can expand into the ability. So if you'd help getting started, we've got a free downloadable with a checklist and with steps that you can follow. So thanks for listening. I'm always happy to chat tech. If you want to follow up, just let me know.